Jackman's Wolverine has had one of the longest 10 years of playing an iconic superhero on the big screen, which means he has a lot of different suits over the years that range from good to not so good. And with the release of Deadpool and Wolverine finally giving us Wolverine in the classic yellow and blue costume, now seems to be the perfect time to rank all of the live-action Wolverine suits from worst to best. If you've been enjoying these lists from me, please don't forget to leave a like on the video, and if you want to see more of these types of videos from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Unlike the other suit rankings I've done, I'm gonna have a specific criteria for what suits I'm gonna be including in this video, because before Deadpool and Wolverine, Hugh Jackman has only had a small handful of actual superhero suits under his belt, with none of them considered traditional suits like heroes such as Spider-Man or Batman had in their iterations. We're also going to be limiting this list to the outfits he's actually worn in the films, so the one suit from the deleted scene in the Wolverine doesn't count. But I'll give it an honorable mention here because the brief look that we get does look pretty badass, and I really wish we could have seen the full outfit at some point, or even just in concept art. And of course, this is going to be my own personal opinion on how each of the suits look, and I would love to hear what your thoughts are down in the comments. And the last thing that I'll say is that there's obviously going to be some spoilers for Deadpool and Wolverine, so if you haven't seen the film yet, this is your warning. And with that all being said, let's get this list started. In last place, I have Old Man Logan from Deadpool and Wolverine. We get this variant of Wolverine during Deadpool's montage through the multiverse, but unfortunately we don't really get a good look at it in the film, so that's why I'm putting it at the bottom of the list. We've also already seen a similar look of an older Wolverine in Logan that we'll be talking about later in the video, but it was cool to get a more direct reference here. Up next, I have the Age of Apocalypse suit. This was also in the Wolverine montage and is another direct reference to the comic variant of Wolverine. This time it's Weapon X. It's cool that we got to see it in the montage, but I'm personally not a fan of how over the top this design is. I get that the costume was designed that way, but that's just my own opinion on it. Either way, it's still a cool reference. At number 12, I have the X-Men 1 suit. This was the first superhero suit that we see Wolverine in, and unsurprisingly, it's the worst one. They obviously wanted to stay away from the comic accurate suit designs, and it's funny that they even referenced it in the film as a joke, but I think it's safe to say that we all would have preferred the yellow spandex Scott. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know I'm usually not a fan of yellow suits and prefer the darker ones, but this is a rare instance where that's not the case. The only real neat thing here is that there's different color lining on the suits that reference their corresponding comic book suits, and Wolverine obviously gets the yellow one with the triangular shapes on the side to reference his outfit. And the last thing, which might seem a little nitpicky, is that Wolverine's hairstyle and facial hair looks a little silly. Ironically, it looks like they wanted to make it as comic accurate as possible, but unfortunately it doesn't really work here. I get that they wanted a different take on the X-Men uniforms, but this just doesn't look great. At number 11, I have the X2 suit. This is the leather suit worn by Wolverine in X-Men 2 and X-Men 3, and I think it's a general improvement over the first one, but not by much. The biggest difference this time around is the X in the middle of the chest, and while it still looks a little silly to me, at least it helps to make it stand out a little bit more and feel more like a team uniform, since some of the other suits have it as well. And like I said, it just looks better in general compared to the first one. I think it would have been cool to see them further develop the suits in X-Men 3, which is funny because nowadays Marvel seems to change every superhero suit in their sequels, even if it's small differences in order to sell more action figures. His hairstyle still looks a little too silly in my opinion, and while it is more comic accurate, it just didn't translate to the screen all that well. Overall, it's still a pretty average suit, but I do like the improvements that they made. At number 10, I have Patch, the next variant from the Wolverine montage, and another great comic book reference. This guy has the drip, and Hugh Jackman looks so badass in this outfit. It's a very simple look, but I would have loved to see more of this outfit, especially if he gets blood all over the suit after a huge brawl or something. It's really cool, and unlike the other variants lower on this list, I think this one has the chance to be used again because of how timeless it is. At number 9, I have Weapon X. This is from Wolverine's cameo in X-Men Apocalypse, and while I'm not really attached to this look and personally don't like it as much as even some of the outfits lower on this list, I do think that they adapted it very well from the comics, especially compared to how the same scenario played out in X-Men Origins Wolverine. And I personally know this look as Wolverine's alternate costume in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which again is obviously inspired from the events in the comics. Overall, it's just a cool comic accurate look that was very nice to see on the big screen. At number 8, I have the white tank top. Even though this is just a white tank top, this is probably one of, if not the most iconic look for Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. I really dig this look for Wolverine, but obviously this is lower on the list because at the end of the day, it is just a tank top. But god damn it, Hugh Jackman pulls this look off so well, and I can't deny that it makes him look so badass. And they even use this look in Deadpool 3 for the Wolverine to reference its significance. Overall, a very simple look, but an effective one. At number 7, I have the leather jacket. This is another look that we see Wolverine wear throughout multiple films, and I absolutely love this look. Wolverine wears brown leather jackets all the time in other forms of media before these films, so it's not like this look is exclusive to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, unlike the white tank top. And in X-Men Origins Wolverine, we actually do get a few yellow stripes on the side that reference his comic costume. And this is also shown in Miles' Wolverine-inspired suit in Marvel's Spider-Man 2. There's no doubt in my mind that brown leather jackets were selling out like crazy as these movies were coming out, because it does look really cool. At number 6, I have Logan's 70s outfit from Days of Future Past. I know we just talked about his leather jacket look, but I think this one deserves its own ranking because of how unique it looks, especially in the 70s setting. The funky shirt, the belt, and the jeans look good, and work really well for this story where Wolverine doesn't really do a whole lot of fighting. And obviously we have the brown leather jacket again, referencing his look in the Days of Future Past comics. I also think that this is the best appearance Hugh Jackman has had in terms of looking like his comic book counterpart, especially with his hairstyle and his facial hair. Leagues better than how he looked in the first 3 X-Men films. I think this is an awesome look for Logan in this film, and it's good enough to get its own hot toy figure, so that has to be worth something. Starting the top 5, I have the Logan outfit. This one is a little bit different because he doesn't have just one singular look in the film, but what Logan does is give us many of the iconic looks worn during Hugh Jackman's tenure playing Wolverine, and acts as a celebration of the character. He's seen in white tank tops, brown leather jackets, and various suits, all with gray hair referencing the old man Logan look that Hugh Jackman pulls off very well. His most famous look from the film is of course the suit he wears as a limo driver. It looks really good, especially with this older, seasoned Wolverine. I love that the film uses all of these different looks to pay homage to Hugh Jackman's portrayal of Wolverine, while also adapting the iconic Old Man Logan look from the comics. And I am flabbergasted there isn't an official hot toy for this outfit. At number 4, I have the Lost Future suit from Days of Future Past. This is the suit that we see in the post-apocalyptic future at the start of the film, and this was without question Wolverine's best suit before his MCU debut. I think this more tactical look with the slim armor works way better than the leather suits, and I love that after 14 years, they finally gave him a yellow and blue suit, even if it's only in the arms. The only thing that I would have liked to see would be the mask. I get why they didn't, but I think it could have worked really well here. It's not completely comic book accurate, but in comparison to the other superhero suits Wolverine had in the Fox universe, this is the best. Now, starting the top 3, I have the black funeral suit from the Wolverine. I'd say at first glance, this is probably the most underrated look on this list, but I feel like more often than not, the general consensus about this outfit is that it's one of his best looks. Wolverine wears this all-black suit during a funeral in Japan, and it slaps so hard. Even in the fight scene that happens during the funeral, he just looks so cool while kicking ass. And I don't have much more to say about this look. It's really cool and is exactly the type of outfit you'd want to see Wolverine fighting ninjas in Japan with. And I recently discovered that there is in fact a hot toy of this look, and yes, it's on my list. At number 2, I have the brown and tan suit. This is the last Wolverine variant used in the Deadpool 3 montage, and it's obviously the best suit variant of them all. This is one of Wolverine's more iconic looks, and is also the suit he wore when fighting the Hulk, which is the gag they used in the film. And they made a great reference to the iconic cover with Wolverine reflecting in his claws. It's a very simple design, but it works really well in live action. And it's very interesting that it took them this long to make a comic accurate suit like this in live action. And it looks way better than the leather suits from the original trilogy. We also did get some official concept art of this suit with the full mask, and I get why they didn't use it in the final film, but I'm hoping we get to see this suit again with the full mask someday. Some people will have this as their favorite suit, and I totally understand why. This suit looks really good, and it can only be beaten by the obvious number 1 pick. And yes, The #1 spot goes to the blue and yellow suit from Deadpool and Wolverine. After waiting 24 years, we finally get to see Hugh Jackman in Deadpool 3 don Wolverine's iconic blue and yellow suit. And it looks absolutely fantastic, and thankfully not over-designed like how most of the Marvel suits look nowadays. What's also great about this suit is that throughout the movie, we get multiple looks of it as it gets damaged. We start with it fully sleeved with the shoulder pads, and then the sleeves come off, and then he puts on the mask, and even at the end, he has the mask on, but without a shirt. I do wish that we saw it without sleeves but with the shoulder pads, but luckily it looks like we can have that look on the official Hot Toy, which I can now say I have my pre-order secured after watching the film, and the mask on the suit. Holy shit. I watched the movie with a very tame audience without any cheering or clapping, but the moment he put the mask on, I heard everyone in the theater gasp. It was such a good moment. There's some shots where it looks a little weird, but overall, it looked amazing, and I'm so glad they made it work in live action. They even gave him the white eyes, which just added to how badass it looked. And it felt like Hugh Jackman really transformed himself into the Wolverine from the comics when he donned the mask. Even though many people, and myself included, have wanted to see Hugh Jackman don this look earlier in his career, it was absolutely worth the wait. This suit is easily the best, and if this actually was Hugh Jackman's last time playing the character, for real this time, I'm glad he was able to finally don this costume. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my list of all of the live-action Wolverine suits. Let me know which ones are your favorite or least favorite in the comments below. And as always, if you like what you see and you want to see more from me, don't forget to hit that like button and hit the subscribe button to see more. And if you want to check out another video of mine, you can watch this video right over here where I talk about all of the live-action Spider-Man suits. Thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you next time.